Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's some scary shit. I don't blame her. Like I'm used to that stuff and it still gives me a small heart attack. So if you're from the Low Country or Florida or something like that and you're in that, yeah, God, I cannot put myself in that position because that sounds terrifying just to think of.
It is terrifying. You know what else is terrifying?
Yes, you did. I was like, fingers crossed. What?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Pixel. My name is Kevin. With me as always is Phil. On today's show, we are finishing off The Witcher, The Last Wish. It's done. We finished it.
Finally, we finally got to The Witcher. And it's done.
We finally got to The Witcher, and we did The Witcher, and it's good stuff, you know? It's where is my... Did it actually close this time? Maybe it actually did. I was opening my... Oh, no, it saved it. Yeah, buddy.
What?
My document for the best website in the world, patreon.com/pixelitpod,
wow.
where you can go to give us money, $1, $5, or $10. You can also subscribe or just follow us for free. There's no obligation there, except in Nebraska.
Do we have Nebraskan fans? That would be great.
I just thought of that old commercial with what's his name? Steve Ballmer doing the ad for Windows.
Oh no, I don't remember that one.
Oh my God. All right, so I'm going to describe it. So basically it's Steve Ballmer. He's standing in front of a blue backdrop. He's got like a tweed suit on. Brown pants. It was the 80s, right? So
sure.
It's about right. Coked out of his head, just absolutely blitzed. All right, and he's leaning on a computer, and he goes, "Introducing the new Windows operating system from Microsoft," and he's like going through all the features of it, and it's like it's got a photo editor, and you could put yourself in Miami Vice, all these features, and Reversey, and he's just.
Oh my God.
It's an amazing commercial. And then he finishes off, was like, write to us at P.O. Box, blah, 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 to get your copy of Microsoft Windows today, except in Nebraska. just as a gag, or is like was that somehow real? I think
way?
I think there was some weird legal thing with Nebraska or something like that you aren't allowed.
That's freaking hilarious.
I never looked into it. I'm assuming it had something to do with ordering stuff like software by mail or something like that.
Isn't it already tough enough to live in Nebraska in the first place? They gotta make it harder. Come on.
Yeah,
Uncool.
So I will find that commercial. I will post it to the Patreon.
We're gonna need that. Yeah.
Go there. But yeah, so at $10, you get your name read out in every episode. And to that end, I want to thank Jesus Loves You, Kyle Seaman, Ruthless Mutter, Middle of Things, Sigma Sal, Chuck, Beaks, Dumbass, Thick, and Friendly Friend. Thank you so much for being a friend. All right.
Indeed.
Yeah. But do you want to just go ahead and start putting that body in the marsh, or
we're gonna put
that body in the marsh. All right, Marshies. Let's go.
All right, Marshies, let's do it. Okay.
When I tell you to dump a body in the marsh, you dump them in the marsh.
So we are in to The Last Wish. Literally, we're in the last story, which is The Last Wish in this collection called The Last Wish. But first, we get the second to last interstitial for the voice of reason. So we've got Geralt. He is still with Nanique at her, at the church there. And it's actually, I liked this part the most because this is a really cool scene that's set. She has this garden basically in a cave that is, the roof is like some sort of elaborate crystalline structure that the sun shines through, and you find out because he sees
it's like a greenhouse.
It is. It's like a natural greenhouse, and he sees all of these plants, and he's the Witcher, so he knows a lot about herbs and elixirs and tinctures and stuff like that.
He knows about the drugs that he needs to take in order to go Super Saiyan.
Exactly. He knows the drugs. He knows the drugs, and so he sees a bunch of them there that he's like, oh, this is that's almost extinct. That you can't find anywhere. And he kind of at one point says, am I to understand that like this is probably the last place you can get a lot of this stuff, isn't it? And Nanik says, yeah, that's it. And they get into a discussion about Yennefer, who was very briefly mentioned at the very beginning of The Voice of Reason, but this is the first time we've had her like full on mentioned. We are given a low context, talk about her. She is they clearly have a dodgy, spicy relationship. She kind of hates his guts right now, but in a sexy way.
Right.
You get that.
It's
impression.
a real sexy hate.
Sexy hate. And she is a sorceress. And therefore, part of being a sorceress, similar to being a witcher, is that she is sterile throughout the process. Her ovaries just get shriveled up and die. So she's not producing no eggs.
Yeah, and we'll get into it more. I think in the other books, exactly the process that it goes through. Because a lot of the things about magic in the Witcher universe is that you have to give something up in order to get something. And for a lot of folks, and correct me if I'm wrong out there, but for sorceresses, basically, they give up their ability to have children in order to freely cast spells.
Yeah.
Whereas like anybody else who can cast spells but is not a sorceress has to do something like draw on, like they want to cast a small spell, they pick up like a flower and they draw the energy from the flower in order to, it's sort of like the thing in Dungeons and Dragons that literally everybody ignores. Which is the fact that your spellcasters have to have spell components. But I ignore it. It is like off on a tangent here. The spell component part of this of spellcasting in Dungeons and Dragons looks like it is inherently designed to slow your goddamn game down to a fucking crawl. Or what are we talking about? Like, oh no, he needs to crush a gem and boil a newt eye in order to do, and then
I can actually explain that a little bit.
Sure.
If not explain, I don't know at what point they started doing this, but at one of the editions, one of the items that you could purchase / should purchase as a wizard or a spellcaster that needs components is a component bag, which basically has it's got the Eye of Newt in there. It's got all the basic stuff. And from what I understand, the only, you can be as hard of a stickler as on the DM side of things as you want. But from what I understand, the general gist is that's the people usually the lower spells, like the easy spells, are kind of left as like, that's just kind of flavor. And you can describe it. But when it comes to things like resurrection, spells like that are really, they require.
Yeah, if you're talking like a level 9 spell or something like that, then if you're trying to cast Wish, then you better have all the components.
Exactly. And that's when you have to, that's when it's a whole damn thing. But no, I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, what the fuck is this?
What is this?
No,
bullshit?
there's a bag. There's a bag. It's a magic bag. Get
magic bag has just get the magic bag.
Get the magic bag. Except for Nebraska.
Except for Nebraska. No magic bags in Nebraska. So my argument would be, if you are making your spellcasters do that bullshit, then there should not be a thing of spell slots.
Oh, interesting.
Like my counter argument is like, if spells are component based, then they should be able to cast for as long as they have the components to do so, and not like base it on spell slots. It's like, to me, it's one or the other. Like, and maybe for certain high level spells, you make an exception. But that's my D&D thought of the. I have not DM'd a game in 4 years, but. We
gotta get a game of something going. I read role-playing game books like they're fictional histories, and that's fun and everything, but really need to get a game going. Okay, so yes, we talk a little bit about Yennefer. She is apparently looking for a cure. It's heavily suggested that this cure is to be able to have babies, which is interesting especially when you get to know her a little bit in the next story.
Right.
So the Witcher, he's gotten some money, like gems, basically, for killing the Striga in the temple, not killing the Striga, curing the Striga, if you will.
Right.
And he wants to give Nanik a bunch of them to like he says, the next time Yennefer's here, give those to her to help, pay for this. And Nanik is like blown away by this in kind of a negative way for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, she's like, that bitch doesn't need your money. This is nothing to her. You're offering Bill Gates $50. You know what she gets paid for, making women fertile or aborting, inconvenient pregnancies. Like that's part of what she does as a sorceress. Yeah. She makes a ton of money doing this. She doesn't need your stupid little gems. So they get into kind of it's like argument about like, why are you like this, basically? And she's asking Geralt, like, you need to stay here. You are still not doing so good. He's clearly ready to go. And she says, you're not doing good. You need to stay. And he refuses. And then we get the kind of classic, like, so how did you and Yennefer meet anyway? And, and it's like, and this is when we get the summer lovin', have me like, this is when there would be a, flashback, story. And that's when we get into The Last Wish, our eponymous story for this collection. We have Geralt and Dandelion on the side of a river fishing. Great opening, very funny. They are working together trying to catch what turns out to be a 12-foot long catfish. They literally say it's a 12-foot long catfish, and Dandelion's so hungry he's like, okay, we're gonna take the body and take it to a smoker in town. They're gonna smoke it for us, and then the head we're gonna use for soup. He will not let the soup go. He wants fish head soup. Damn
fish head soup. This whole sequence is amazing, and honestly, I feel like there needed to be, like, before we get in, because starting in the next book, we kind of get into the like the full bullshit of The Witcher, which is like the overarching stories and all that stuff. Right.
Whereas, I've already, by the way, I have put the next Witcher book in the schedule for next year
in the calendar. Perfect.
It is. Okay. It is in. So we are officially on. Yeah.
But this is much more episodic with the short stories, and I just wish there was more Dandelion and Geralt doing just the dumbest shit. Like,
yes,
the two of them, the manly man Geralt and foppish Dandelion the poet, just working together to try to get 12-foot catfish out of the water.
Yeah. Pansexual Dandelion, and honestly,
pansexual
Geralt, but with a different tone.
Yeah.
Working together to get a fish, a comically huge fish out of the water. And I totally agree. Like, obviously the adventures are what we're here for and everything.
What is Geralt? I mean, if Dandelion's a twink, what's Geralt? He's not a bear.
He's a top of some kind. I mean, he's whatever he wants to be.
He's whatever he wants to be. He's the white wolf.
He's a Sigma. Strong Sigma energy.
Yeah.
No, I would love to have, and I'm sure they will later with because these become novels and that sort of thing. More of these interstitial moments where it's not about chasing down a monster; it's about how are we going to set up camp and how are we going to eat,
how are we eating,
kind of thing. And
we're
it's
both
always
very
funny. Yeah. They are either rich beyond their wildest imagining, and then they blow it, or they're broke. It is great. It's a great dynamic. And but frankly, I'm just happy.
Are they good with money or impulse control? Neither of them.
No, neither of those things. Neither of those things. And both of them are bad at both of those things, just for different reasons.
For very different reasons.
Very different reasons. So they lose out on the catfish, but they find this vase, like this it's a lamp. It's a genie's lamp. And they try to open it. Geralt's like, this is not a good idea. And Dandelion seems to be like, no, I know exactly what this is.
What was the word? The word they used was an amphor.
Amphor, which is a wine
wine vase.
Vase. And so Dandelion is very confident. He goes, I know exactly what this is. Back off. I know what's going on. And gets the top off, and a genie pops out. And he goes, yeah, I'm supposed to get 3 wishes. So, all right. And he just starts rattling them off. He's been thinking about this. Dandelion's like, all right, first off, that one fucking troubadour in the other town who I hate, he has to die of apoplexy. Just kill him. That's the first thing he says. I want that guy. I want that rival troubadour to die horribly. Which is okay. Jesus Christ. And he starts talking about, and then he gets into, he starts going, you remember that girl that I was really interested in? She wasn't all that interested. She's going to be interested now.
I want her interested in me. Yeah.
She's going to be real interested, if you know what I'm saying. And he can't even get through it all before the genie just fucking strangles him. It's this cloud of red smoke and just strangles him. Geralt, to save him, remembers this. They keep calling it an exorcism, like it's like that he learned from some other priestess or something like that. He doesn't know what the words mean, but he
keeps saying them.
Yeah, and he keeps saying them, shouting them at it, and it seems to work. The genie runs off, gets out real fast, and Dandelion though is not doing so great. And he needs help. So they get to the nearest town, city, what have you. And they can't, it's like this weird thing where it's like, you can't come in after dark.
Curfew. Yeah, it's after curfew. They don't let new people in after curfew. And there's like a roadhouse basically just outside the gate. You can hang out there, you know?
Right. So he goes to this roadhouse and meets a couple of elves and like 3 elves, like a couple of elves and a half elf.
It's 2 elves and a knight.
Yes, and a knight. Yes. And so they're talking
and
about
the knight is a half elf, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And but they give them the lowdown on the city, that basically the city has outlawed spell casting. And so it's like it's very heavily punishable. And but there's one person who is in the city who doesn't give a shit and will do whatever she wants, and that's Yennefer of Vengerberg, who is a sorceress / witch living there. And it's kind of
she's the guest of a merchant that
a very well-to-do guy,
very wealthy guy, yeah,
Bo Barrett, and which that sounds like
that's a
millennial comedian, but that works too.
It could be a millennial Bo Barrett. Bo Barrett. He had a show on Comedy Central called The Bo Show, where we do like pranks and kind of like just real mean-spirited interstitials. Yeah,
and then he hit middle age and like just had a fucking breakdown and started doing George Carlin style shit.
Yeah.
Like Krusty the Clown.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. So,
by the way, total aside, there's a new Mike Birbiglia out.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Just came out yesterday.
What's it on?
Netflix.
Well, we're gonna have to watch that, aren't we? We like ourselves some Birbigs.
We like ourselves some Birbigs
in this family. The Old Man in the Pool is really, really good. I was really impressed. What he does is so specific. It's like stand-up comedy for the NPR crowd.
The way that what's funny is I was watching the credits to the show afterwards, and it's the same people, Seth Barish, and it says story consultant Ira Glass.
There you go.
It's Ira Glass works with him on these one man, because he doesn't call them stand-up sets anymore. Right, he calls them one man shows.
Yeah.
Which I think it's like the highfalutin way of saying it, but at the same time, he is telling a story, a very specific story, rather than just like doing a stand-up set. And
It's kind of
But
like Henry Rollins, where Henry Rollins happens to be freaking hilarious, but he's not a stand-up comedian. It's not the same thing.
So Bermiglia's a way he'll have the audience laughing, but the way he's able to then with his next word make the audience drop to like as silent as a pin.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does that, but it's amazing.
Especially if you're familiar with his early work, which was very silly and very, he had that way of talking. He had this kind of Bobcat Goldthwait thing that he was kind of doing.
He was always doing the
yeah, exactly. So the fact that it's a lot more intellectual and story based now. Anyway, I have to check that out. The other thing
Bo
that
Baron.
Bo Baron, the elves inform Geralt that we need to get some help for your friend, especially because he's a troubadour, because the damage that the genie's done to his throat, if it isn't reversed soon, he will never be able to sing again. He might be able to learn how to speak, but he'll never be able to sing. And it's very sweet. Geralt is like, oh no, we're not having that. Like he's not gonna let his friend's life get ruined over this. It's very sweet because it's real easy to see Dandelion as kind of this annoying hanger-on, but Geralt loves him clearly.
And Dandelion is also his only friend.
Right, exactly. So he's gonna go seek out this Yennefer lady to find out how he's gonna help, if she can help him, because if there's anybody in the city that can help his friend, it's gonna be her. So he ends up going over to Beau's house. He meets the guardsman. One of my favorite moments in this entire story, maybe in the entire book, where he's like just saying, "Let me in. Just let me in." And the guard's like, "No, fuck off." And so Geralt takes his purse off of his belt and he says, "Maybe some gold will change your mind."
It's amazing.
And the guard's like, "I don't know, man. Yeah, they paid me pretty well." And he goes, "I'm not talking about paying you." And he uses it as a sap and just blackjacks him. The fucking temple, knocks him out like a sock full of quarters.
He hits him 3 times. He's just like, bam, bam. And then the guy is still moving a little bit. So he one more time for good measure.
Yeah, just to make sure he doesn't get up anytime soon.
I think that's something I appreciate about this book and these stories is like there's really random slapstick.
Oh, I know. There's a lot of physical humor, which I adore. Especially, again, I've mentioned it before that me and my wife are watching Game of Thrones. This is the first time she's ever watched it. And Game of Thrones takes itself so seriously.
Right.
So it's funny to watch, for example, the other evening, The Red Wedding.
Right.
And then get in bed and read about Geralt blackjacking this fucking dude in the temple. It's great. It's really good. So
you know what it is? It's very Indiana Jones.
Oh, super Indiana Jones.
It's very Geralt would do the no ticket bit.
Yeah, he'd do the gun, thing, just annoyed out of his mind.
No ticket.
No ticket. Like it's fantastic. It's just a lovely moment, and it tells you a lot about Geralt.
Yeah.
So he pulls a hitman and like hides him in a dumpster or something like that, so no one's gonna ask questions.
Right.
And he gets in there, and there's a member of someone in there who is just passed the fuck out in the middle of the room. There's shit all over the floor and all over the walls, and it looks like a giant party just happened or something. And she's and she wakes up clearly still drunk, basically, is the impression you get, and starts babbling about apple juice. She told me to get her apple juice. She told me to get her some apple juice. And it's like, okay. And it's like, well, I'll help you. Sure, I can help you with that. Gets the apple juice and passes out again. So Geralt goes and finds the person who has requested the apple juice, and it turns out to be Yennefer. And she's asleep. He wakes her up, and she's pissed. She's not happy to see him. But he's like, "Hey, look, I brought you this apple. I heard you wanted some apple juice. Brought you some apple juice.
Here's some apple juice.
Here's some apple juice,
like,
babe."
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, all right, okay. And he tells her about his situation and I've got a bard, you see. And so she's like, all right, listen, we got to talk about this. I need to take a bath. So meet me in the bathhouse downstairs.
And she's like, by the way, you need to take a bath.
Yeah. And you need to, what is the comment she makes? She's like, based on your smell,
I'm able to tell the sex and breed of the horse that you rode in on. And also the color.
And also the color. Exactly. It's great. It's not enough to say you stink. And so she's like, so meet me and he's like, dude, my friend this is not good. Time's of the essence here. And she goes, yeah, look, I'm only listening to you because you brought me some apple juice. Like I was planning on sleeping till noon. And that was my plan. And I'm actually getting up and listening to you. So you better, not look a gift horse that stinks in the mouth here. So he's like, all right, fine. So this is where the story becomes the horniest story in this whole collection. And there have been hints of horny.
Saving the horn till last.
Oh my God. There have been hints of horn. Obviously, we opened with him banging some silenced lady in the priesthood. It's like, so we knew what we were getting into. But we start with Geralt downstairs nude, washing himself off. And the way it's described, he's like pouring it on his body. And I'm just like, something for the ladies. Like you can just see this slow-mo.
It's like written like it's like lit like fucking Skinamax, where
right?
It's like he threw some Vaseline on the lens to get that real bloom from the lights.
Yeah, that movie that you were watching at 11 p.m. after your parents fell asleep. And you just, please God, don't listen.
Where did that tenor sax come from?
Yeah, exactly. It's very that. And she walks in and he's like trying to be kind of modest, and she's like, "Oh, get over it." It was just when you've seen one naked man, you've seen them all. Which, you know what? Fair. So she gets into the bath and she's like, "Oh well, I'm gonna try and be modest though." And he's like, "Oh well," and he kind of turns away, and she goes, "Don't worry, don't bother," and she casts herself invisible. So he is watching as a sudsy hot bath, like this. The suds are sticking to certain parts of her. So he's kind of like, I can almost see a titty. What is that? I don't. Okay, kind of.
Now for Geralt, like for watching Geralt, it was 11 p.m. Skinamax. But for him watching Yennefer, he's watching the Playboy channel and it's scrambled.
Exactly. It's just going. Oh. Is this
what's going on right now?
I used to have
I see it.
The joke I used to do a joke about it. Is that an elbow or is that a boob.com where we can men of a certain age can relive the excitement of trying to see through scrambled porn. But yeah, so he's blown away by how hot she is. Talks about her shapely legs. Like she starts getting dried off and dressing. She's still invisible, but he can see the outline of her legs as she pulls her stockings on and her frilly undergarments. And it is horny. It is so horny.
Geralt is like he is going to be turned on by the smell of lilac and gooseberries for the rest of his life.
Because she smells like lilac and gooseberries, and we keep hitting that. So like they're talking, and he's just kind of like, ooh, all right, what's happening? And he realizes that, and we learn that she probably didn't always look this way, because while druids and like other magical orders, they actually make a point to get the least attractive girls as acolytes as they can, probably so they'll focus. But sorceresses will get anybody who's talented, because after the fact, the sorceresses have all kinds of spells you can use, and you can reshape your body and look as sexy as you want to look, which opens it up to a character. And I hope this happens. I'm not holding my breath, but it opens it up to the idea of meeting a sorceress who was beautiful and said, nah, fuck that, and just hagged herself out. That would be metal as shit. I would love that story. But in any case, he's thinking, he's literally going, Wonder what she used to look like. Wonder what kind of an uggo she used to be.
He says, I don't know if it's at this point, but he said, she has the eyes of a hunchback.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually how they describe it. It's awful, but kind of an amazing description. He's like, you've got this army of sexy lady sorceresses with the eyes of angry, ugly girls, which on one hand is terrible, and on the other hand is actually really good writing. It's terrible, but it's pretty good at the same time. I'm willing to forgive if you're willing to forgive as well. So it's a really interesting mental thing that Geralt's putting himself through, because he's also, while this is it's almost like he's trying to keep his dick soft,
right?
You know, he's like, she was probably ugly though. I don't know, man.
No. Stay
down. So while they start talking, it becomes clear that she has like wait, am I jumping ahead? Okay, no, they do a portal. She does a portal because she can't leave the house, because the moment she leaves the house, people are going to fuck her up because everyone hates her. And she's like a very open sorceress, and she's going to jail the moment she steps out. So she does a portal into the tavern, where they've got, poor unconscious Dandelion. So she's like, I'm gonna go take a look at him. So while she's taking a look at him, Geralt's hanging out with the elves downstairs, and we get from one of the elves, Cheridian, or Cheridian, something like that. It's a good name. I just don't know how to pronounce it. But he's basically like, yeah, it's a good name. And Geralt's really impressed with her because he's met sorcerers and sorceresses before, and none of them would get this far. None of them would go this far to even consider helping him. So he's like, she's actually probably the nicest sorceress I've ever met. And the elf is like, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, she is dangerous. Do not trust her. And it also kind of comes out, it's like clear. It's like, yeah, she's hot. I know all about how hot she is. I'm obsessed with her, basically.
Right.
So finally Yennefer like calls him up, and she's like, I've taken care of it. He's fine. He'll be fine. So you owe me something, you know? And so he's like, okay, yeah, but I want to get him someplace safe first. And he's clearly like taken the elf's advice of like, don't trust this, this woman. He's like, I'll tell you what, I'll give you, you know, this. What does he give her? She wants the amphora lid. And, and he's like, I'm not going to give you that. I'll give you something.
He's like, I don't know. He might, we might have it. I'm not sure where it is.
Right. He's playing dumb.
And Geralt has it in his back pocket or whatever.
Right. And he's like, I'll tell you what, I'll give you something of value, so you can trust me to come back and pay you. I just need to take care of Dandelion first. And as they have this,
There's a munchkin.
There it is.
Hello. Bye-bye.
Cameo by Munchkin. So while they're having this discussion, Geralt starts to realize, he's like, I can't move. And while he was distracted and arguing with Yennefer, she was sitting there casting a spell on him to basically freeze him. And she says, yeah, this is a trap. This is totally a trap. So he's paralyzed. And he's arguing with her, and he passes out. He wakes up in a dungeon with Cheridian, with the elf, and with these thieves who are sitting in one corner, kind of like watching them and like kind of whispering to each other. And at one point, he's like, "Are you guys gonna like talk to us too, or something?" And they're like, No. He said, we're honest thieves. We're just thieves, man. You're fucked up.
You did some fucked up shit.
You are fucked up. We steal stuff like honest people do, and we're paying the price. Whatever. You're fucked up. So he finds out that basically Yennefer had cast a spell on him to go and just fucking tear up the city looking for anyone who has wronged her, beating the shit out of people, spanking this like Laurel Nose, this apothecary who had like called her a whore and all kinds of stuff. And he's like, there's like, yeah, you said like she's not a whore, she's a it's kind of like she's not a whore, she doesn't charge, like
she doesn't charge. Like it's like it was like differentiating the definition of whore versus harlot or something like that.
Right, and just beating the shit out of people, and finally like a bunch of the local guards who are bandits. They say, you know, they're the local bandits. They're the guards. They came out and so he swings on them, and he's swinging on a cop. So that's when they actually give a shit. And he gets knocked out and taken into the dungeon. And so that's all. He doesn't remember any of this, but he's just beating up a bunch of fucking cops, beating up a bunch of, you know, random people in the town who
Yennefer a bunch of co-ops.
Bunch of co-ops. They're no fucking co-ops.
They're no fucking co-ops.
And he just beats the shit out of them all. And
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks with pay. World needs plenty of bartenders. So they're like,
gotta get back to our departed roots.
I know. Come on. Let's not forget where we came from. We can't forget where we came from.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
Two good Boston boys.
One day, you know what? I'm putting this out into the world, Kevin. One day we have to do a Boston bonus episode. We actually have to go to Boston for a weekend.
Yeah.
And do some Boston shit and actually record an episode there.
Yep. I agree.
I think 100%. We have to do it. Maybe
we
can find
it would be a walking tour of the departed.
Yeah. Maybe we find that overpass or something that like he's like getting into an argument with Marky Mark and all that shit under the overpass, and like we record it there. You know, we're in the elevator that Leo DiCaprio was shot in the head at, and this is the next episode of
spoilers for a 20-year-old movie.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing you a favor. It crushed a part of my soul that I'll never get back. Better that you're ready for that. So I mentioned in the last episode, I think, that the fascinating thing, I had initially compared The Witcher to Conan. And in reality, he's more like Sherlock Holmes. This story goes a little bit back to my original impression as Conan, and what I mean is, at some point, a giant guard comes in and starts like beating the shit out of him, like he's being held and getting punched in the stomach over and over again, and at one point, Geralt's doing his best to keep his cool, but he finally looks at the guard and says, "I wish that you would just burst." And he does. He
bursts.
He explodes like a Doom villain. Like he just, like they even described, they're like, it's just pieces of people. Like, just
have you ever seen that? What's that? Which Monty Python movie is that? Where the guy keeps on eating at the restaurant.
Oh, was that the meaning of life?
I think that might have been Meaning of Life.
Meaning of Life. I think it was
Meaning of Life. Yeah. Explosion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Creosote blows up. And
but you know what the thing is? They use the word burst, and something about that is so much worse. It's
just worst. It's, you know, you ever see that scene in Scanners?
Yeah, exactly. It's very that, and it just it is easily the most graphic thing that's happened in these stories so far.
This is where Tom Savini enters the story,
right?
And does like Tom Savini is just off camera. And he's like, with like a shotgun, or just like some bombs that he rigged up, and he made a meat suit out of like cow brains and just rubber. It's like latex and cow brains, and he's just looking over and waiting for the line
read. Give him the read. Boom. And yeah, so then we find we cut to Geralt and the elf in the mayor's office, essentially, with a priest. And the mayor is like, what the fuck are you doing to my town? He's freaking out. And the priest is in the background going, yeah, like he's like his hype man. And then and there are several times where the mayor's like, shut the fuck up. I need you to shut the fuck up. And they're freaking out. So while this is happening, they keep saying like things like, he says this, and thunder happens outside, as if emphasizing what he was saying. We find out it's not a storm is not coming, not a literal one anyway. Outside, a genie, the very genie that had hurt Dandelion in the first place, is wrecking the town, specifically the area where Beau's home and where he lives and everything like that. And so, by the way, before all this happens, Dandelion like bursts into the room, all verklempt, with his beautiful voice restored, and he's like, "You can't! He's an innocent man. He's fine. He's my boyfriend."
He's like singing everything.
yeah, exactly. And they're like, "No, shut up! Like you're going to jail too." I'll shut up then. So everything's happening outside, and basically it's Yennefer versus the genie. And we learn a little bit about sorcerers and sorceresses and their history with genies, how they often can learn how to enslave them basically and use their powers. And there are different genies for different elements. We get a quick lowdown on all that. In fact, the mayor is explaining it to us, and every now and then Geralt will go, "Yeah, it's kind of like," mayor's like, "Shut the fuck up! I know you don't know anything. I'm telling this story. You're all
my
over this
story,
book.
asshole.
Give me one story. So Geralt's like, oh crap, like, and because he's totally smitten with her. He is sweet on Yennefer, and so he can't stand the idea of her, because it's not looking good, because the genie is crazy strong and they are kind of at a standstill, and it doesn't look good for her. So Geralt realizes in this moment that the reason that they're at a standstill, that nothing's happening, is because the genie's still kind of like trapped. He's still chained. Right. And it's because Dandelion wasn't the person who got the wishes. Geralt did. Yeah. So when Geralt shouts in a weird ass foreign language at the genie, that was his first wish. And that's why the genie beat feet as fast as he did. And then when he said to the guard, "I wish that you would just burst," well, your wish is my command. It's that level of shit.
Motherfucker bursts.
Yeah. And that's just one of the many benefits of hanging with a genie. They didn't show you that in Aladdin. But he knows he has one wish left. He has his last wish. And when he does that, the genie will be freed, and will, on one hand, the genie will be available to be trapped. He'll be vulnerable, but on the other hand, he'll be free. So it's not a great situation. So he's like, I gotta go help her. And on the way out the door, because he tells the priest at one point, he's like, yeah, I exorcised him. And he goes, you exorcised him? What did you say? And he says these words, and the priest is like, whoa, who? What are you saying? And he's like, yeah, no, I don't even know what it means.
I don't know what it means. And the priest is like, it means go fuck your mother.
Yeah. So as far as we know, that genie actually went to the ends of the earth to fuck its own mother, and then returned. It is that kind of they follow the rules. I'm just saying. So we get the closure on what it was that he's been friggin' saying. So Geralt makes his way to is it a tavern? I think he's in a tavern where all this shit's going down. Yennefer is pissed because she's like, I've got this. And he's like, I don't think you do. And she's like, I do. I totally do. So it's that kind of argument. It's a meet cute with a lot of screaming. And so she's like trying to get rid of him, get lost, using portals and all kinds of shit to try and get him out of there. And they're like fighting. They're like slap fighting. All the while, this genie is tearing this town to shreds. And they're like fighting, and it's stupid and funny. And she's hitting him. And the only place that he can protect his face is between her bosoms. So he slams his face in her cleavage so she can't hit his face anymore. It's that level of like Dumb and Dumber style fighting that we get here. So he says, listen, I'm going to tell you why you need to back off on this one. You're not going to be happy, but I'm going to tell you what. And he explains the whole last wish thing. So she's like, dude, make your wish. You can have anything you want. You can have anything. So make your wish so that when you do that, the genie will get lost, and I can capture him. So finally, he does find out. He like discerns somehow that before she was a sorceress, she was indeed a hunchback. Right. That she had been a hunchback. So that we get that detail, and that kind of turns him on to her a little more. Yeah. He's kind of like, oh, that's hot. Like, she was like a real person. She was a person. Exactly. He's in a weird way. He's accepting her as a human being, based on that, a human being with thick thighs to save lives. Yeah. So he makes his last wish, and wouldn't you know it, the wish essentially is that that he can be with her, that she'll love him. Go on.
It's like it binds them together forever, or something like that.
Yeah,
and we get because we get off camera in the other scene in the running commentary by the mayor and the priest and Dandelion. They're like, well, the only way he can do this, the only way he can make his wish and she survives, is if he binds his life to hers or something like that. And then they're like, but I doubt that'll come up. He'll think of that.
There's no way that they're going to do that. And indeed he does. And I appreciated the direction they went with it, because it wasn't quite so, let's say, rapey as Dandelion's hope to make the girl fall in love with him. There is definitely chemistry between them. He's not saying I want her to be magically forced to love me. He just wants to be a part of her life and have them share something. So that happens. The genie gets lost. He's free, and he just leaves. And then to celebrate the situation, Yennefer and Geralt just start pounding it. Just fucking
pounding it.
Yeah, albino balls slapping against, black fuzzy. It's so horny. And we literally have like the end of Fifth Element, where like the mayor and everything comes down. It's like, well, where is he? I've got to shake his hand to thank him for what he did, and blah blah blah. And the elf like peeks in the rubble, and he goes, oh, they're gonna need a little more time. Let's go get a drink. They'll be back. They'll be back. And that's the last wish.
That's the last wish. Yeah.
It's such a great way to end this collection, because it's probably got the most action of any of the stories in this, and it's definitely the horniest. So it goes really hard, if you'll excuse the expression, in the directions you expect from sword and sorcery stuff. Right. So, but it's not quite the end of the book, because we do finally end the Voice of Reason storyline. So we cut back to Geralt. He is leaving the temple, and wouldn't you know it, the knights that wanted to tangle with him earlier, that Nanik,
they're back.
And the deal is, and they bring this dwarf who is like the head of their army or something like that.
He's the captain of the guard.
Captain of the guard. Yeah. And so they're like, okay, so here's the thing. Talus, I think is his name. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Talus, who is like this young piece of royalty who's one of the knights. And it's like, so he's going to challenge you to a duel. And And normally we wouldn't challenge someone as low as you. Someone low like you can't challenge us, but we can challenge you. And they get into a little verbal slap fight over that.
It's like basically if we challenge you, like if you challenged us, it wouldn't matter. We would just be like, fuck it. We don't need to meet that. But if we challenge you, we actually level you up to our level, but you must accept the duel.
Yeah. Otherwise you just an asshole, like you lose all face.
Right.
And it's a very silly moment. And they're like, but by the way,
not allowed to hurt him.
Not allowed to hurt him because he's royalty. And that's why the head of the guard is here. Because the moment if you so much as cut him, you're going to jail. And good news. And the dwarf's like, good news. It's not a fight to the death. Just someone has to be beaten helpless. So
it's like as soon as they're in a helpless position, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. And he's like, so listen, just let him beat you some and move on. Because the whole thing is the young royalty wants to be able to say that he defeated a Witcher. He wants the clout that would come with that. So the dwarf's like, please just let him beat you, and we can move on. You won't have to. He's like, so my choice is get the shit kicked out of me or go to jail. Okay, no, let's do it. Let's fight. I'm ready. Let's fight. And so they get into this sword fight. They're given I guess rapiers, the way that they describe it. But they're like really shitty swords just to even the odds. He isn't allowed to use his badass swords. And at one point he sees an opening and hits his sword with his own sword so hard that his sword bounces back, smashes his face, because it just pummels his face and he's bleeding everywhere and crying and screaming. And he collapses into a heap.
Yeah. And
so Talus's dad, is there and he's like, yeah, go fucking, all right, arrest him.
Arrest this man.
He did it. And Geralt's and the dwarf, good guy dwarf is like, actually, Geralt didn't do that. That was Talus's own sword. He got hit by his own sword. Geralt didn't do anything wrong. He's like,
why are you hitting yourself?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You stupid humans and hitting yourselves. So it's this clever little like, yeah, he got away with it. He didn't do anything. And the Witcher's like, the royalties are like collecting their crying, sobbing Talus, and they're starting to leave. And Geralt's like, by the way, I'm going to be coming back to see Nanique before too long. And if I find out that you've been harassing her, I'm going to gut you. I'm going to cut you open.
I'm going to kill all of you.
I'm going to kill all of you guys. Like, makes no bones about it. I'm nothing cute. I will kill all of you if you mess with them anymore. And it becomes clear, like, we're not going to do that. Everything's cool.
Fucking
it's cool.
White-haired piece of shit. What'd you say?
What? Nothing. Just, so Geralt and Dandelion head back to the temple real quick. And Nanique, it's kind of like the end of a quest in a video game where all your potions get restored. You're back to max. She gives him all of his elixirs and stuff from the crystal cave there. And the box is being carried by Iola, the girl who has the vow of silence. And when she hands it to him, she has like a vision / seizure. Yeah. And he sees part of it, like just this war. It's clear, like it's images of war coming, some sort of death coming. And Nanique's like, and they take her away so she can rest and sleep it off. And Nanique is like, I know that you saw something there. I know something's coming. Please don't leave. This is and
stay here. Just stay chill. Here.
Yeah, just stay here. We can help you. And he says something about like, well, there's no point in spending your life looking over your shoulder all the time. Right. I'm not going to do that. And so she begs him to stay. He refuses. And it's come back, Shane. At the end, he's riding off into the sunset and a single tear falls down Nanique's face. And that's the last wish.
That's the last wish.
That's the last wish. So, Kevin, what did you think? How did you like the last wish?
It's a fun book. I really like the way the series of short stories. They're tying them all together. It is very much like a clip show, but
very much. Yeah.
I love how the way the voice of reason is written, so that each part of the voice of reason kind of is like, hey, remember that time you and Jaskier got into a heap of trouble over at the edge of the world, and then it's like the end of the world or whatever, the edge of the world, and So I really liked it. I can see why it became a big deal, especially in. It became a huge deal in Poland and Eastern Europe. And then it wasn't until the games that it kind of broke through outside of Eastern Europe. But I can understand why people are such big fans of it. Totally.
Yeah. You can see why this was so, if you're a country that's not well known for its sword and sorcery stuff, and you have something like this to point to, you're going to get excited. This is really good shit.
Right.
And I agree. I think the clip show quality of it was just cheesy enough, but still very well done, to hang everything off of. I really liked it too. So I'm already looking forward to reading the next one. Which will be coming in 2026. So
2026. Hang out for that.
Hang out. So now that we finished that, Kevin, I only have one question left for you.
Okay.
What are you playing?
Ooh, okay. So what am I playing? I started playing that Hollywood Animal game that we were talking about at the other episode. It's actually a lot of fun. It's a real interesting game. Basically, you start in the I want to say 1930s, or it's like 1929 or something like that. Your character buys a studio that has gone under. And kind of as a tutorial, there's all right, well, the studio that was going under, it had one film in the can already. So we're going to kind of walk you through the basics with it was already filmed. The lead actor died during filming, all this stuff. And, it's neat. You work on each aspect of the movie. You have a pre-production department, you have a story department, and you research and you build out additional buildings for each of them. So there's you can research, as you research the story skill tree, you unlock the story workshop. And then the story workshop, you as the player can go in and start mixing up elements of a story to see what could work. And what's amazing / sad, but is that if you do something all right, I want a female protagonist who is a detective and also the love interest is female, right? It doesn't ignore that. When you get to the assigning it to a writer stage, it's 1930. The writer, no matter what writer you assign it to, will be I am not writing this shit.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, and then there's a warning at the beginning of the movie, beginning of the game. It's when this game started, there's a lot of, there's misogyny, there's racism, there's all that stuff. It's reflected in the game. There will be characters that you'll get, and there will be a little tag with the thing that they're bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. For some of them, it'll have a needle where it says that they're an addict, right? They like the opium a little bit too much, or they they're an alcoholic, or they are a racist. They'll be they will refuse to write people of color into their movies. So that's that's an interesting element that you have to kind of work around, especially if you're trying to be better. You actually have to work at it. You can't just make it happen within the game.
That's awesome.
And there's an HR department, and you can work on your hiring of within ethnicities and genders and all that stuff. Which it's there's so much to do. And that's just the socio part of the game. aside from the business of making movies, you know?
Right. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's like, it's not cool that that's the world as it was, but the challenge of, because I know a lot of you who are listening are going to want to, if you played this game, you're going to want to make your gay 1930s movie. Who wouldn't want to do that? Like, right. So you got it, but you got to work for it. You got to actually, there's a challenge to it. I respect that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat. And so there's like so many elements to the game. It's in early access, but the UI, everything is really well designed so far. And the one thing I'll mention is that there's like, because it's in early access, there's two things. First, you can only go 30 years, I think, at this point.
Okay. Okay.
And second, there are skills in the skill tree that are not available yet. Like, you can't unlock them because it's still early access. And I'll have a note like, this will be coming in the full release. Like, you can't do this yet. Right. And I think some of them are like, there's like some story ideas where it's like, yeah, you can't do remakes yet. Don't try to unlock it. We're not.
Yeah, they're still developing it. Yeah,
they're still developing it. You know, it's cool. At 0.8 is the version on the game. So at the 1.0 release, you know, be sure to check it out. But I'm having fun with it in early access.
Nice.
The other thing I've been playing, which just got out of early access, is Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon.
I downloaded the demo for this. This looks interesting.
Which is it's an Arthurian legend Skyrim type game. It's like an Elder Scrolls like, where, you know, first person point of view RPG. It's interesting where a lot of in the very beginning, you're in a dungeon. Like any good Elder Scrolls game, you start out in a dungeon and you're actually diseased with something called the Red Death. You've been captured by this group called the Red Priests, who are these doctors who are kind of just like trying to figure out a cure for the Red Death, but they are doing it in not the most humane ways. And you find out there's something called the weirdness. And the weirdness is a primordial force that kind of taints anything it touches. When Arthur first arrived to the lands of Avalon, he kind of like, he beat back the weirdness, right? Him and his knights and all that. They were running from the Red Death. They were coming from the Red Death, but now the Red Death is in Avalon. And they're like, okay, can we use the weirdness to cure? They're like, what if we use this weird primordial thing we barely understand to try to cure the Red Death? What does that do? And
sure, it'll work out fine.
There's a lot of interesting twists and turns to what the game is actually about, in terms of, you know, King Arthur, and there's a lot of the language basis seems to be like a Gaelic, whenever they use like an old tongue. And what's interesting is some of the weirdness stuff and some of the ancient stuff, the Foredwellers or whatever. There is some really interesting like H.R. Giger stuff going on, which it's like, oh yeah, it's fantasy, and then you go into a place where it's like, where am I? Why am I on the ship from Alien?
Why am I freaked out? That's not how this works generally.
So yeah, it's like you go from Skyrim to Scorn, basically.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
In certain regards, in some places. So there's a lot of weird twisted turns. It's like definitely a AA game, punching above its weight. So it's, but right now I'm having fun as my character just has this giant hammer that they found. Mm-hmm. And I sneak up on people and I use a power attack, and I just like bash their head in once, It's
Nice.
it's just like a giant. It's like a cartoonishly sized hammer, and I just go, and it's like there will be like low level enemies, and they're like, I'm gonna get you, and it's just like bonk right on the head. They're done. It's full insta kill. I'm having a lot of fun. Just smashing people in the head with my hammer in this game. And also does that thing that like Morrowind used to do. I don't know if I can't remember they did it in the other Elder Scrolls games, where it's like if you're running, you're getting points in athletics.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's
if
yeah,
you're
that
like
was
running
something
or
they did
jumping, like as you do things, you also level up those specific skills.
Yeah, you have to use the skills.
Yeah. So the more you do them, so my like agility or whatever or athletics is really high because I'm sprinting everywhere, and you don't lose stamina in between battles. So
nice.
you can just run. So yeah, it's a cool game so far. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Phil,
nice.
What are you playing?
I played and finished a very short, lovely game called Bolt Gun: Words of Vengeance.
Okay, is this a spin-off of Bolt Gun?
It is. This is it took about 15 minutes to play. It is a typing game of Bolt Gun. It is totally free. It is basically being used to promo Bolt Gun 2, which I believe is coming out next year. Okay. It is fantastic. Not just because I like typing games. I've always had a thing for them. But it also is a very just like Bolt Gun is, it's a very self-aware, silly, fun kind of thing. You're on rails, you're playing your character, you're on rails, and different enemies come your way, and they have words associated with them or sentences associated with them. All of them are 40K lore inspired, like death is your reward is something I had to type, right? And when you've typed it, you kill the enemy, and it's super fun. I don't think I would have been able to do more than maybe an hour of it. So 15 minutes sounds perfect to me. Yeah. And the last word you can use, you blow up a bunch of things with one shot, and the words you have to write is wish list Bolt Gun 2, and it's that is how you sell a game like that. That's just amazing. It's lovely. It is a lovely little piece of fun, just different enough from its predecessor to get you pumped for the next installation of it. And it's great. It's great because they do all the things you ought to do in this. Again, you're on rails and you only ever have your bolt gun, which is whatever. But every now and then you've got to walk through a longer area. And that's when they throw him into like clutching his fists and saying one of his, great catchphrases or something. So they're like wrapping you up in the atmosphere and being like, this is what the game's about, by the way, that you could be playing right now or playing next year. Right. This is how you sell a video game. It's wonderful. Just a little bite, 3 acts, about 5 minutes each. You could play it on your lunch break. You probably finish it twice on your lunch break. It's great.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, totally worth downloading. Super fun. I also started playing. I broke down. As I told Kevin, I said I finally broke down and got Xbox Game Pass PC. But if I'm being honest with myself, I didn't break down so much as realize it's something you could have. I didn't know that. I thought it was just for Xbox. I'd never looked into it, and it was like, oh, there's a PC version of it, and I can have it for a couple of weeks for $1. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a shot. And so I started playing Clair Obscura, Expedition 33. Really enjoying it. Really, it's the Frenchest thing I've ever seen, and I spent a week in Bordeaux. It is ridiculous. Like that prologue with your main character, who is like still just pining over his ex, who is a freckled French bobbed girl wearing a beret.
Yeah.
and your friend, I think it's your sister or something, your little friend.
Mael. She's like technically your like adopted daughter.
Right.
Sort of.
Okay. Yeah. And she's wearing like a striped mime shirt. And if it wasn't for and you meet all these other people who know you, and Sophie, who is the girl you're in love with, and they're like, you talk to Sophie, you still love her. You know, it's, they don't have that thick of a French accent, but you can. It's there, man.
Well,
it's there.
It's Gustav. Your main character is Charlie Cox.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Daredevil himself. Yeah.
The voice acting is excellent. The voice acting is superb. I have never played.
And Mael, by the way, is Shadowheart.
That's who it is. Okay, yeah. No, I'm really impressed with how they've put it together. I think first and foremost, the gameplay, the Persona style gameplay is really well done. Yeah. It's very satisfying, even though I'm not really all that good at parrying or dodging. I'm getting better, but I'm still really pumped about it. I still really like the way they do it. I like the character development, and I've never played a game where the first, 40 minutes, that prologue, made me well up at the end.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking. It's really good storytelling. They do not give you the context of everything that is going on. They don't give you a cute title card in the beginning that says this is how it. You have to pay attention to what people are talking about and what they're saying, and it makes you confused in a good way. Where you're like, I want to know more about what's happening here, and when you find out and you see the consequences of it, it is heartbreaking. Yeah. It is genuinely heartbreaking and really, really well done. I applaud the studio that made this. I love the way the story is. I'm barely into it. I played like 2 hours of it, I think.
Yeah.
I really like it. I love the creature design. The creature designs.
So you're onto the island now.
I just got out of the spring area. I just got out of there, so I'm real early, and I just got my map. I just got the map screen.
Overworld.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm real new into it, but I'm just thrilled to be playing it. It's a lot of fun. And I'm stoked that it's on. I'm just really excited to have Game Pass now to see
and
all the stuff that's on there.
For you people who are into feet, Luna doesn't have shoes on, and she floats. So she's my gal. Oh my god! I don't think I've ever been so infatuated with a video game character's smile as
right. I gave a whole big thing. I made a big to-do over. I don't need anything but indie games now. And I meant that for the most part.
Yeah.
But damn, the stuff they can do with this now. And yeah, she's just charming and what a lovely character. Great voice acting, great design, beautiful, cool powers.
The stains and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. She's my gal. I really dig her. So yeah. That's sorry, I'm eating a cherry. I got through. I've started making my gin and tonics with the good maraschino cherries. I just put a couple in there, and it's like having an alcoholic cherry limeade. It's lovely.
It is lovely. So it's like it's not like the maraschino cherries that are like you use.
No.
Like the ones that like you touch and now your fingers are red somehow.
No. Yeah, they're not. They're like well-made ones. Emily
actual cherries.
They're very tasty, and by the time you're finished with your drink and they've been soaking in gin the whole time, it's extra lovely. Anyway, so Bolt Gun, Clair Obscur, I'm really looking forward to playing through those. Can't wait to play what's the one you were talking about, the southern one. I'm looking forward to that
too. South of Midnight.
South of Midnight
is also on there.
That's my next one on the Game Pass. I really want to play.
Nice.
I've got this little list of games that I need. I've got my usual host of demos. But I've also got Promise Mascot Agency here. I keep telling myself I'm going to come back to Rogue Trader. I got a bunch of stuff I got to get on.
There's so much more pumped. Rogue Trader coming.
I know, exactly. I'd like to have some level of handle on it. I'm just glad that the developers of Baldur's Gate 3 stuck to what they said and did not create any DLC for it. They're like, yeah, no. Right. Thank you.
I mean, they basically did enough content patching where it's like they did DLC.
They might as well have, yeah.
But they did their full 8 big fat patches on Baldur's Gate 3, and then we're like, we're out.
We're out. We're done. Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
That's exactly it. So it's gonna be a good year. Well, it has been a good year. We're halfway through it almost. So so that's me.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. That's the end of Witcher Last Wish. We are going to be moving on to one of two things next, depending on how some scheduling works out for a guest episode. So either I'll be the guest episode or I'll be in the lead for Resident Evil, the last one. The last Resident Evil book, right?
No, there are 2 more after this one.
There's 2 more after this one.
We got a couple more years of Resident Evil.
Okay.
At this rate, yeah.
Okay.
This is which one is this? We finished Underworld last year.
Is this Nemesis?
Yes. Wait, no. Hold on.
Is it?
Shit. I'm just gonna check the calendar.
Check the calendar.
Pretty sure you're right, but I need to get a copy of it. Nemesis. Sorry. Yep, Nemesis. Wait. No. Well, it should be. I mean, do you want it? It's under my schedule. But you should do it.
No, I'll take it.
Okay, I'll put it in.
Yeah, since you just did The Witcher.
Yeah. Okay, set. All right. So next is Resident Evil Nemesis.
Fantastic.
Love it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week with one of those 2 things. In the meantime, in between time, follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, and all that stuff. You can join our Discord, join the conversation. Phil, I did have a question about... okay, so I wished for infinite wishes, and now the djinn is very upset with me. What do I do?
Look, it's just... The whole thing started with this started with Bill Clinton in the 90s. So based on that, how do you feel about Jinkos?